I caught myself doing it again, turning every conversation into a transaction that I needed to win. Every outreach message, conversation, follow up, underneath all of it was this tight grip. This one needs to convert. And the minute that grip came into picture, my energy shifted and so did the results. This week, I finally saw a pattern so clearly that I could name it. And as a result of naming it, a lot of things shifted this week. Stay with me till the end of this video because you will recognize hidden patterns that turns inspired action into desperate energy, which thereby ends up killing the deals, calls, and momentum. See how I caught it myself with using my Epic Leadership Operating System framework, and leave with one question that will help you recognize which is the energy you are creating your results from. Hi, my name is Ajita. Welcome to my YouTube channel. With over 20 years of corporate executive experience, I am now the consciousness architect for tech leaders and founders, upgrading their internal architecture to lead at visionary scale in the age of AI. What I share with you in this video is my live business building experience. I am not building this business from hustle and grind. Instead, I'm using the unique principles, what I call the 7I pathway. That includes infinite field, intention, identity, imagination, intuitive decision, inspired action, and inevitable results. This is my live case study of taking my business from zero to $4.4 million using the very framework which I use with my clients, which is the Epic Leadership Operating System framework, where in Epic, E stands for emotional, P for physical, I for intellectual, and C for consciousness. All of these are the internal operating systems that we as leaders have to navigate every single moment in our journey of leadership and life. And I use this to apply it on my own self and with my clients to see amazing epic results. Week by week, you will see invisible changes creating visible results. We are now on week 18. Let's see what's shifted. There were 4 key events this week that I want to share with you that had a profound impact in how I perceived myself and what actions I was inspired to take. The first one was actually last Tuesday. Before I recorded the YouTube video, I was inspired to stand in front of the mirror and I started speaking to myself in the most loving possible way. I spoke directly, looking into my eyes, and I did not make any affirmations. It was me acknowledging the greatness I see within myself. And it was a very moving moment. Emotionally, I felt this huge wave of love envelop me. And physically, the body was energized as I was speaking those statements into looking into the mirror and to myself. And I felt like I was standing taller even without trying, because there was this ownership that came in to fully accept who I was seeing on the other side of the mirror. And the intellectually, I'm building something like my journey is towards $4.4 million business to I'm actually that already. That is the fundamental shift that I've seen happen in the past few months. The beauty about this is I am noticing that I'm stepping into that identity energetically very often, and yet there is something that moves me down back to not being in that state. And this is a very powerful observation that I want to share with all of you, because if you are in this journey of making your identity shift, this is going to be something you may experience in your journey as well. What I noticed was when I made the trip to Silicon Valley a few weeks ago, I was completely embodied in that end state version of me energetically. People felt it, I was magnetic. I didn't have to make much effort. People were gravitating, magnetized towards me, and we had amazing conversations and connections. Where I noticed that I fell out of alignment with that energy of who I was or who I believed I am right now is every time I get attached to an outcome as a result of some conversation or something that unfolds. That is the biggest awareness for me, is the attachment piece. This week, if I have to summarize everything that has happened and where I landed in my awareness, is this piece. The more I get attached to getting some outcome out of a conversation or a call or a interaction, the less I'm able to stay in the high frequency, happy vibrational energy of being that version of me that has already succeeded in that business result. Powerful aspect about that is gap between the identity that I embody energetically versus the physical reality. That is the gap where I was getting myself tripped. Intellectually remembering and stating these statements to myself, like I was looking into my eyes and I was really boldly accepting the aspects of me that I had not fully owned. As much as you have heard me do a lot of shadow work, which is the whole shadow archetypes or the parts of us that we don't always own, in the past 2 weeks I've shared about the abandonment, the failure, those elements of shadow that I have integrated. Now I'm learning to integrate the light aspects of me, the bright aspects of me, the good aspects of me that other people see in me, but I don't seem to be fully owning them. That was the consciousness level shift. It is essentially moving something that I know intellectually to some extent to fully into the body. Because the beauty about the realization this week is ability to create in the three-dimensional reality that which you desire in your imagined state is directly relational to how well your physical body is vibrating at the frequency of already having that result. Now let me replay what I mean by that. It is intellectually, I may know, I may just be aware, I can even believe that yes, $4.4 million in my business is a done deal. It's happening. I know it's happening. I don't care about the how and the when, right? I can say that intellectually, but it is not until my physical body truly receives that awareness. What does that mean? It means that I am not going to freak out when I get $1 million deal tomorrow because my nervous system is not feeling unsafe with that level of inflow, right? So it is not until my nervous system feels safe and my body feels safe. And how will I know that? Because I have to take action in that direction. So if I'm already a person who has made $4.4 million in my business, what actions would I be taking? Those actions will be natural. They're not being forced. I don't have to talk myself into it. I don't have to talk myself out of anything. It is what I am, and hence it naturally flows from there, the beingness. It is not until the physical body vibrates at the frequency of you already being that version that the three-dimensional reality, the external reality really catches up. That was the awareness also, deeper awareness to say, okay, I really am doing a great job of holding the energy. As long as I'm not attached to the outcome, I can hold the energy of that's already done. And then from there, taking action on a consistent discipline basis. In fact, this week I saw this beautiful visual on social media. Somebody had shared it, that your flow state, which is essentially the state we all are desiring to be in, because when you're in flow, you are completely in joy, bliss state, right? When you're in flow, you're just doing things because it feels right, it feels natural. And the person had described it as a Venn diagram, like a two circles intersecting. The middle part is the flow. You will be in flow when two things intersect. On one is discipline, the other is surrender. And to be honest, I feel like this is the part that I'm really mastering, because a couple of weeks ago in my video, I mentioned that I kept getting the infinite field informing me that my job is to surrender and soften. And I even mentioned that it seems a little bit of an alien concept to surrender. I will say this week, that has been another big lesson learning and landing for me, is the very aspect to not be attached to an outcome requires me to surrender to what is unfolding without my human mind driving it to an expectation that then, when not met, becomes a disappointment. And the disappointment energy brings my vibrational frequency down from embodying it from it's already done, I know it's done, to oh my God, it's not done now, what the heck do I do, right? You see the energy difference between the two states of being. And I'm realizing that the difference is happening because I'm bringing myself down to what the heck, nothing is happening state, because I have an expectation of something that is unfolding in my current reality needs to yield a result. It is very human. It is very common for us that when we do something, we expect results. Do your duty, don't expect results. And what they mean by that is, don't expect results to come in the way you think they ought to come. Do the work with absolute joy, because that is who you are, and then let the results unfold as they unfold whenever they do. And so what I want to leave you with, many of us have been taught that we have to earn something. To be confident, you have to earn something so that it'll make me confident. Like if I get this award, then I'll be confident. If I get this deal, I'll be confident. What if it's the other way around? Meaning, what if the deal is waiting for you to be fully feeling confident? What if all that you're experiencing right now is actually a preparation for you so that you are already your confident self, and then the results unfold outside? This is the reframe that I did this week, where I even told myself that the win for me on a daily basis is how many people did I reach out to? And if there is a call that has been scheduled, The win about that call is, did the two people for the call show up, which is myself and the other person, and did I share what I do and who I help? If these two things happen, that call is a win for me. And this is a very different way of looking at any conversation, because as I started this video, my biggest challenge was every conversation I was gripping so hard to say, okay, is this going to yield results for me? And now by stepping away from, you know what, the call is happening not for any results. It is happening because I'm meant to talk to this person. I'm going to talk to this person and I have no attachment to where it goes. My only job is to show up, because then I have to show up to make the call happen. And when I show up, I get to share who I serve and how I help. That's it. That's the two pieces that I'm now calling as a win for any conversation, whether it's a call, in-person meeting, wherever I meet anybody. If these two things happen for me, then I'm considering it a win. And am I doing this daily, consistently, with at least one person every single day? Am I showing up consistently and having this level of conversation with somebody, fully being present, and can I add value to their life? So I'm changing the whole perspective on how I approach these conversations, really arrive at a place of detachment and surrender. So my question to you is, where in your life are you still waiting for something outside to show up so that you can feel a certain way? And how about you decide to inhabit that version of you fully now so that you can start to see results outside? And I'm also saying this because I noticed and realized that every identity shift that I have made in the last 7 to 8 years have all happened because I chose that identity first, and I then started taking action from there before I fully saw results outside. I mean, I've done, I think, 5-6 identity shifts in the last 7 years, if not more, moving from being an employee to an entrepreneur, going from being a married person to a single person, and then launching my, the artist journey that I'm on as a singer, the mandala artist journey that I'm on as a visual artist, and the speaker journey that I'm on, the acting that I have done. I've produced movies. So all of these avatars that I have, and the beauty pageants, modeling, like I've taken on so many identities in the last 7 years. And all of them happened because somewhere in the process, I first decided I want to be that. I want to be that person. I've decided I'm going to be that version of me. So I am a beauty queen. I am a model. I am a singer. I am an artist. So I decided each one of them, unconsciously though, not like I stood in front of a mirror and made a declaration. No, I just looked at it and I said, that looks like fun. Why don't I do that? Why don't I be that? That's it. One thought, and I moved in that direction, took action, and landed. And I got paid for almost all of these things that I'm talking about. So none of these were done for free. I'm a paid professional singer. I'm a paid professional artist, visual artist. I'm a paid model, or I was. I don't do modeling anymore. So all of these were paid for me. This is what made me realize, okay, I've done all these identity shifts. So it's the same deal with business as well. It's no different. Even moving from an employee to an entrepreneur, the identity shift happened because I chose, before I even quit my job, I chose to dabble with a few businesses by taking permission from my employer at that time. And I dabbled with them. I figured what worked, I learned quite a bit, right? And I kept moving in that direction to then be able to make that call in 2019 and say, okay, I'm no longer doing this full-time job. I've got these three other things that I want to do, and I stepped out. I didn't wait for the external bank account to show up a certain way before I could make that plunge. My business was barely making any money in 2019. So it shows that these risks that I've taken are actually based off of me embodying the identity first, and then the external reality caught up. So the question for you, where in your life are you still waiting for external reality to show up in a certain way for you to feel a certain way? And what if you made a decision today that you're going to feel that certain way now before the external reality can then catch up and show you that very same thing that you're desiring? The second thing that happened beautifully was one-on-one interactions for me in my business experiences are not the most expansive, joyful experiences for me, because I love training in a room of people. I've done that many, many years since I left my corporate job. And I love being in the presence of people in a room, teaching, training, facilitating, having fun. That's just naturally how I function. In fact, many, many people in my classroom, attendees have come and told me, professionals, senior professionals come and told me, you are such a natural in doing this. You're really born for this. That's how they feel when I'm in the room. How I can bring my singing, dancing, art, and all of those elements into helping these senior executive leaders get out of their left brain into more right brain oriented functioning, and how that can lead to breakthrough ideas and really solve their business problems. I'm excited about this because now what I've decided, 18 weeks into this journey, as they say, better late than never, that I am actually not going to spend any more energy in marketing my one-on-one services. I'm really going to put all my energy right now in just two elements in my business. One is the group offering that I've launched, the Epic Leaders Collective, that is already live. I am focusing on really doing a masterclass in helping people get a better understanding of what that collective can do for them, actually more on my story, and then of course inviting people that are at the threshold of their identity shift to come into the collective. The second piece I'm just going to be focusing purely on is going to organizations that are really looking at ways to solve their investment that they've already made, let's say in artificial intelligence or any initiative, and helping them uncover the hidden opportunity by facilitating these beautiful sessions with the executive leadership team, and then really help them upgrade their collective operating system to arrive at these breakthrough solutions. That sounds very exciting and very fun because I've done this many times in the past for my clients through the training partner that I used to work with. And so this seems naturally inclined and aligned for me with my energy and joy. So I call this a breakthrough because even though I've spent about 16 weeks in churning the wheels on what offer do I want to go with, who do I want to go with, I think there's a powerful lesson for all of us here, which is many times we don't take a step in a direction because we're so afraid to make mistakes. And we think, oh my God, I wasted 12 weeks and 16 weeks trying to dabble with this thing. Now I'm finding that I'm going to go in a different direction. But I think what I am celebrating is the courage to make pivots aligned with what is joyful is more powerful than anything else. Joy is my central compass in living my entire life, business or otherwise. And if it doesn't bring me joy, I'm not doing it for anybody's sake. It has to be joyful for me, no negotiations on that. With such clarity, I said, of course, it's not that one-on-one doesn't bring me joy. It is not as joyful as a group experience in a corporate boardroom. And so it's very clear for me that that's where I'm headed next. And I'm celebrating that because I feel a renewed energy with that point of view. And with that renewed energy, I've reached out to 4 different people in my network that I've worked with in the past in the capacity of leadership training, coaching, facilitating. And I've got all 4 calls scheduled this week and I'm excited about it. My question to you in context of my breakthrough this week is, where are you shrinking your energy to fit into something that was never built for you? And what would change if joy became your only compass based on which you decide how you live your life and business? The next powerful event that unfolded this week was on Saturday. I don't know for what reason, and I'm going to blame it on the powerful super new moon in Gemini that happened on Sunday, but Saturday was dismal. I was in this huge downward spiral of questioning everything. And I had this, I reflected on my history, on my journey, and I've started feeling like everything that has happened is the worst that could have happened for me. And I wasn't, really where I want to be. And all the negative thoughts and feelings, my entire epic operating system was in downward spiral. Emotions were full of grief. I was just crying, a lot of self-pity. And the internal intellectual operating system is like, oh, you've done nothing. You actually ruined everything. Nothing is going to happen for you. There's no path forward. You put yourself in this bind. All the narratives and stories were on a hyperdrive downward. And body was just exhausted for Pilates class. And then I came back and I literally just slept. For 2 hours, 3 hours, I just slept. Body was completely fatigued and exhausted. And of course, the identity was something rooted in whatever. I fill in the blanks with the worst possible I am statement, and that's where I was. When I was in this state, I decided to take support from the mastermind that I'm a part of, and I messaged the group. And of course, the mentor there she's so good at what she does. She looks at me and she goes, well, you are focusing on the gap instead of looking at the gain. And she uses this term, gap versus gain, which is a very powerful reference point. So she actually gave all of us, not just me, all of us an exercise to say, write down all the ways you are successful without money involved in the picture. That was the best exercise I think I've done. And it somewhat aligned with already what I did looking at the mirror earlier in the week. I went for an evening walk. I turned on my voice recorder and I started telling all the very many ways by which I am successful, and each one of them had nothing to do with financial aspect or money at all. And I think I found 20 different things. And once I did that recording and I came back, I'm like, oh my God, this is what success is. We are operating based on success definition based on somebody else's. So money is a big part of that definition for a lot of people. And the minute I saw through that illusion and that I was getting caught up in the definition of success as based on finances, then I was like, no, I'm actually successful already, because that's the very fact that inspired me to even start the masterclass that I'm holding next Tuesday. And it's all about the missing link between who you are and who you wish to be or who you are meant to be. How do you bridge that gap? And because then I realized, oh my God, I've done so many identity shifts that many people won't even dare even one of them in a lifetime. And I've done so many of them in such a short span. Then I realized this is what I have to offer to this world. And this is what Epic Leaders Collective is about. It's not about money. It's actually about making you believe in the version that you're meant to be and actually be that version before external reality can start to show you evidence of it. And so I actually absolutely enjoyed that exercise. And I think if you are, inspired to do that, I would highly recommend that you do. Write down all the different ways by which you are already successful without money being involved in the picture. I was really deeply intuitively guided to do my masterclass for the collective, the public, on June 23rd. And I sat through 4 hours, I think, and I created the whole sales page and reached out to my ads person saying, I know it's short notice, let's get the ads running for the webinar starting tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Even if it's a shorter time, it's okay, because I'm also planning to promote it through my warm network or organic network that I have. And productivity was through the roof, because now I realized that I'm sitting on a gold mine that I can offer to this world. I'm doing a disservice to this world by not sharing what I'm offering through Epic Leaders Collective and how they can benefit from it by not sharing widely about it. The biggest takeaway for me is measuring from the gap is an infinite hamster wheel, because the goalpost will always keep moving. Because I remember 10 years ago, how much I desired to sing in public. It was not something I did for 20 years of my life. And here I am 10 years after, becoming so beautifully capable, confident, singing in front of hundreds of people loving my voice and saying it touches their heart. I have already accomplished a big part of my dream that was only a dream a few years ago. And so now that I've achieved it, now suddenly I have this 4.4 million goal that is now becoming like, oh, this is the kahuna that I have to now conquer. The truth is, goalposts will continue to move. So you don't measure yourself from where you are to where you want to be. You always look at what have I gained from everything that I have gone through, what have I learned from it, what's the wisdom in it, how do I get to share it with the world. And as you be that version that is totally giving in terms of your wisdom, every other future goal that you have automatically gets addressed, because you are already that version that already has everything within you. You're simply learning to unleash aspects of you, releasing what is blocking you from completely owning that version of you. So here's what I know, and I want to share that with you today. You can do all inner work regarding worthiness, rewrite your identity, heal your abandonment wound, be open to receiving. But at the end of all of this, if you're still attached to results, then everything falls flat, especially when you're attached to the how and the when. And attachment, unfortunately, looks like ambition, but it is not. The shift is very subtle though. You go from I'm taking action because I want a result to I'm taking action because this is who I am. Externally, the action looks exactly the same, me sending outreach messages to 10 people a day. But the energy behind it is very, very different. And that's what makes all the difference in terms of results. The universe, infinite field, responds to energy. Of course, the action too, but more importantly, the energy behind the action. So the question that I want to leave you with is this. Where in your business or life are you secretly attached to an outcome and doing things because of that outcome? And what would change the moment you finally let that attachment go? So summarizing some of the outer actions this week, I crystallized my B2B leadership workshop offer, both the short-term and the long-term one. I created the pricing structure. I have a full experiential walkthrough of what that would look like for anybody that is interested to know how I can help them, what the positioning is, and so on. I've also scheduled some initial conversations with some partners that I've worked with in the past to share about this. And I've decided to run the Epic Leaders Collective Masterclass. It's called The Missing Link, the gap between who you are and who you are meant to be. And I will be putting the link to that webinar here in the YouTube description box. If any of you are called to join it, please feel free to. It is a low ticket entry with $44 because I do believe that energy exchange is very important. Free content is already available from me on YouTube. And this particular masterclass is actually a transmission. There's going to be an energy transmission through my sharing my story and how understanding the missing link is going to change your life. And so that will be in the masterclass, and the link will be in description. Committed myself to sending some outreach messages on a daily basis, especially to promote the masterclass, because I know a lot of people are looking and waiting for something like this to come into their life. And I am so thrilled and excited to be showing up at the right time for these people to make that shift in this journey. And here's what I want to leave you with this week, right? There are layers to this work. You've seen me, if you've been following this journey, you've seen me work through layers in the last 18 weeks, including this one. You know, you heal the worthiness wound, you rewrite your I'm a failure identity, you are open to receiving, you follow the joy, and you measure from the gain, not from the gap. And yet there is this last piece that is still holding everything in place from making that leap or the breakthrough, which is being attached to outcome. And this is a pattern that is something that I'm very aware of, and I'm grateful for the awareness, the depth of awareness that has come in, especially with the infinite field giving me a clear message to surrender and soften and relax. Just relax. That's been the message. Surrender has been a big message for a few weeks now, and I'm slowly allowing and learning how to bring it into my physical body, into my frequency, so that I'm not too grippy. Surrender often is mistaken as giving up or backing down, but it's neither. It is actually knowing that it is done because something larger than me is taking care of the how and the when. The key is to take action because that's who I am, from the energy of service and value add rather than what's in it for me to receive. And this week has been a major roller coaster, moving from grief to certainty to clarity, and then finally to detachment or non-attachment. And that is because that is the last piece of my old self that was still clinging on, that I was still clinging on to, which is now something I've said goodbye to. So this is Epic Leadership Operating System in action live in my business this week, and it is available to every single one of you. And I will see you next week.